Bichara Supply Chain, highlighting and showcasing solutions for the most complex challenges facing the industry in 21st century by our team of subject matter experts and mentors. Broadcasting every week, all year round, we will present the most up-to-date series of podcasts and webinars.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bichara Supply Chain. This is Nur Hadi, and today we're going to talk about Lean Supply Chain, creating a supply chain strategy. And with me now, Lee Campe. He is a Lean Six Sigma guru and president at Performance Excellence based in US. Thank you for joining us, Lee, and welcome to Bichara Supply Chain.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we start, can you please tell us a bit about yourself and your professional background?
All right. Well, since it's a supply chain audience, I'll kind of orientate it that direction. My supply chain background starts in the military, where I was stationed in Italy for 5 years. We call the supply chain in the military the quartermaster group. So I was responsible for really resupply of a military unit through airdrop. So I had parachute riggers and things like that. But when I decided to get out of the military, I earned my MBA and then was very fortunate to be hired by General Electric and was placed right into the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt job description in a supply chain organization called Penske Logistics. Penske, I don't know about today, but at that time was 3 primary products. You had transportation, which was the trucking group, logistics, and automation. And so as a black belt, my job was to solve problems for Penske in those areas. And I did 2 years as a black belt. I did 14 projects for Penske, and those projects saved $22.5 million. So there's a lot of money to save in this industry. I take credit for the projects getting done because that's my job as a black belt. I give leadership the credit for the money saved because that's their job. And by the way, if you ever hear about a Lean Six Sigma program failing, well, that's often the disconnect, is leadership kind of thinks that somebody else is going to do the job for them. The greatest description I can use is leadership should be the chief of police, assigning the crime scenes to the detectives, and then the black belts are the detectives who solve the crime.
Okay.
Basically after that, just very quickly, I was a master black belt for General Electric Power Systems. Then I was a director of Lean Six Sigma for Cordis Corporation. We made cardiac stents and catheters. Vice president of Lean Six Sigma for JP Morgan Chase in New York. Then I helped Home Depot start their program, which, that would be one of the biggest suppliers in the U.S. And then after that, I started my company because I sort of felt, at this point, I'm one of the leading experts. I should start doing this on my own, and the rest is history. And then lastly, I teach at the Georgia Institute of Technology here in Atlanta, Georgia, where people can come and get their green and black belt certification through us.
Yeah, awesome. So people may understand that the supply chain is one of the best places to look for opportunities to cut costs, recover waste resources, and also increase profits. But my question is, what exactly does Lean Supply Chain strategy look like?
Well, I think it starts with understanding it correctly, which I don't find a lot of organizations do. So again, you'll hear these random cases. Oh, Lean Six Sigma didn't work in my industry or my company. You take out the word Lean Six Sigma, and basically what you just said is making decisions based on data did not work in my company. So and that's why I laugh when people say this. What the true story is your company failed to implement it correctly. But the best example I can give is to separate the two. Lean, our modern day understanding of Lean comes out of Toyota, the Toyota production system, although most of that can be traced to Henry Ford. And then Six Sigma is more traced back to Motorola and the production of pagers. But let's take racing, overseas, a lot of people like Formula One. In America, everyone likes NASCAR. Lean would be the pit stop. So Lean would say, how do we go from 10 seconds changing tires in NASCAR to 1.5 seconds in Formula One? So Lean would be all about removing waste, waste of waiting, waste of transportation. Actually, supply chain practitioners, our pitch is we sell our services to others saying that we can do their waste better, faster, or cheaper. Transporting an object adds no value to the object. The fact that Amazon showed up at the door today with my product, I do not get excited about the box. I get excited about what's in the box. So our sell is that we can do it better, faster, cheaper. The Six Sigma side, again, going back to racing, that would be why aren't we winning races? So that's more your analytical, statistical-based decision-making. So NASCAR is how can we change tires faster? That's Lean. Formula One, why aren't we winning races? That would be the Six Sigma application. So one of the things I always stress is Lean Six Sigma is not process improvement. If you watch some of my videos online, you'll see me. I'm a big teacher in that. Mm-hmm. It is problem solving. So in supply chain, I've done projects on increasing on-time delivery, which was not a process issue. I've done projects on packing the right items in a box. That was a process issue. We've done projects on reducing employee absenteeism. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest projects we did at Penske was truck driver turnover, which is a big deal in supply chain and logistics. We had about 11% of truck drivers quit in the first year, and we were able to reduce that to about 6.5%. So really, at the end of the day, what I tell people is Lean Six Sigma is identifying mathematical metrics that are important to you, then picking the ones whose current performance you don't like, and then using a proven methodology to identify the root cause and then fix it.
Yeah. And then once we understand the source of waste in our supply chain, then we can begin to develop our strategy to eliminate it. Can you please explain a bit on how to strategize it?
Okay, well, so let's go through the steps as I kind of highlighted earlier. Step one, it requires companies to be measuring things. So a lot of times that's a missing link in organizations. Yeah. So we all know in supply chain, we're going to measure on-time delivery, accuracy. If you're in the delivery service, you're going to measure damage. If we're retail, we're going to measure returns, et cetera. So it starts with step one, identifying the metrics. Step two, someone has to own the metrics. So there's quite a few cultures out there where everyone agrees, oh, yeah, we must measure on-time delivery. And then as a consultant, when I ask, all right, who owns that metric, everyone sort of looks away or looks at each other. So if someone's not going to own the metric, then we can't drive improvement on it. So that's step two. Someone has to own the metric. Step three, then, you determine if you like its current performance. So if your on-time delivery is 99%, well, then that may not be the thing we need to work on right now. Maybe what we need to work on is reducing cost of delivery from $1.08 a mile to $1.06 a mile, which, of course, the average person says, what's 2 cents? But, over millions of miles, that adds up. So step one, identify the metric. Step two, someone needs to own it. Step three, we need to decide if we like its current performance. And then step four, if we don't like its performance, assign someone to figure out why it is where it is today, and then recommend ways to fix it. That basically is how you roll out a Lean Six Sigma culture and program.
Yeah, awesome. So I also found another terminology called agile. So we Lean and also agile. So how do you see these two different approaches, supply chain strategy?
They're not really different. Lean, Agile's just Lean for software development. Okay. So let's. It's brilliant. It's like basically how you know to apply Lean is if it looks like an opportunity for a pit stop. So I know overseas Formula One's really big. So what is it about a pit stop? A car pulls in, everybody is ready, the tools are there, they're prepared, the car is lifted, tires placed, and 1.5 seconds it's gone. So now let's move over to software development. In the old days, we had people sitting in different rooms. We would schedule these meetings a week from now on decisions that needed to be made 2 days before the meeting. Of course, meetings are delayed because somebody didn't show up. Where do we put the list of things to do? It's in an email that I sent out, and then someone replies, and just the waste. So what Agile is applying Lean to the waste in IT and development. So everybody's in a room. We've got a list of what needs to be done. We're basically, you're eliminating the waiting waste, waiting for decisions, waiting for people to decide what to do. You're eliminating a lot of the motion transportation waste in the case that most people are together in an area where quickly they can decide things. So really, Agile is Lean for software development around the idea of making the necessary software decisions faster. Now, interesting, a lot of people leave the Six Sigma out. Six Sigma would be the elimination of testing in software, which that blows people's minds. They're like, well, you have to do testing in software. And the answer is no, you don't if you write it right the first time. So that's part of the philosophical switch in Lean Six Sigma. For example, one of the things that I try to get rid of in industries is policies and procedures. And you say, well, we have to have a policy to do blank. And I go, no, policies tell people how to do it right the first time. Lean Six Sigma says make it impossible to do it wrong the first time. So a lot of Agile's strength is helping people understand what waste is and showing them how they can get rid of it and write code in 30 minutes instead of 3 days.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, all right, Lee. So before we close our conversation today, do you have any final thought that you'd like to share to our listener?
Well, I think it's the big thing back in my introduction. One of the big, frustrating things for me is to read an article or hear someone say, Lean Six Sigma didn't work with, company XYZ. Again, I can't stress enough. You just said that making decisions using data didn't work. I need people to understand that. And then I would say number 2, getting away from the term process improvement and getting over to the term problem solving, because then it opens up a whole extra set of things that you can work on. If you say you're only going to do process improvement, we can only work on, our pick, pack, ship process, for example, but we have no tools available for why our pickers aren't at work today. So by switching the terminology to, I want to fix metrics that aren't working, we can work on process and non-process related issues. And you mentioned one of them in your first question, profitability. Profitability does not have a process. There's nothing I'm going to map out. However, in most companies, that is a metric that they would definitely like to improve. So those would be my big 2 takeaways for people listening.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So thanks for sharing with us, Lee. See you next time and goodbye.
All right. Thank you.
At Bichara Supply Chain, we are committed to driving global perspective to embrace technological adaptation in improving process efficiencies. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Bichara Supply Chain. And stay tuned for the latest updates. To learn more, visit our website www.bicharasupplychain.com. Thank you for listening to us. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode.